Hello everyone, welcome to another segment of mail time. We got a huge box here, and I got an email from a viewer that said he had some equipment, some test equipment that he wanted to donate to us here at the radio shop. And I know there's one piece in here I'm interested in, but there's some other pieces in here that we're going to look at. Possibly do some restores and do some future giveaways, and I think that what you'll see in here is some stuff that you might like. So we'll go ahead and start pulling some stuff out and taking a look at it. Okay, so the first piece of equipment in the box. Here we have a heat kit, model V7A, vacuum tube voltmeter. And as you can see, it's in really great shape. It has a new cord on it, but this one is in excellent looking shape. Good clear meter. Meter looks real good. A couple little cracks up here at the top, but hey, we can't complain about that. This meter goes up to 1500 volts. AC DC ohms. Very nice looking meter. That will make a nice restore. And when we sit down and restore this, we will give this meter away. So inside the big box we have another box. I haven't even looked at this yet. See what's in here, but we'll go ahead and open it up. Oh yeah. Pull the first one out. And another vacuum tube voltmeter. This is the model IM-18. Now I had one of these on the bench for years and I love that meter. It works good. This one also goes up to 1500 volts, RX times 1 meg. Very nice looking cord with the ground. Looks real good. It has a fuse in the back. So that will be another nice meter. So that's 2 meters that we'll be giving away. And that ain't all. Here again is another heat kit, IM-18. A little bit different case. Got a different color handle. The back, you see, this does not have the fuse on the back of it. And you know, different models, the same model but different years, they came out a little different. Another 1500 volt meter, vacuum tube voltmeter. So this one also, as you can see, looks great. We'll be restoring this one and giving it away also. So that's 3 heat kit vacuum tube voltmeters that we will do random draws and give away. Looks like we got a bag of miscellaneous probes. I'm not sure what the model is on this one. I do not see a model on it. It's probably come off. But AC ohms, and got a little adjustment here on the top, and then DC. We got what looks like to be a couple of microwave probes that can be used for different things. And there's another DC probe. Yep, DC 1 mega ohms, has a 1 meg resistor in it. So we have one more big box that was inside the bigger box. And if this is what I think it is, this is one of the pieces I will be keeping for myself, at least for a while, to just play around with and check it out, restore it. And yes, it is exactly what I thought it was. The guy that had all this equipment wanted to remain anonymous, so no problem with that. And he had already emailed me. We have some old parts there that he's replaced. Let me get this out of the box so you can see what this is. So you can see what we have here is the Clow Bringle signal generator. Now this generator was made somewhere between the 30s and 40s. It's old. It's been around a long time. And you can see here we have our main tuning dial. Over here is a will be your 5-band switch. If I can zoom in on this just a little bit more, you can see there's band 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that selects the 5 bands for the output. Alright, so down here on the bottom left we have a vernier attenuation control. This is the attenuation for steps. In other words, you can put it on one of the steps and then adjust it here, and then even more and adjust it here. And it's 4 steps, but you can also go between some of these steps in here, and I don't know if that's original or has been replaced. I know it's supposed to be 4 steps, but it seems like there's some more steps in this one. Over on the right hand side is your main dial to turn the unit off. You can select it with modulation, unmodulated, 400 hertz sine wave output, and external modulation. And you can see over here is the external modulation input. Now, the next thing is, if you notice you don't see an output jack on this, that's because it's a little small one down here under the bottom, and it's like a almost like a number 47 bulb jack. It's like a bayonet style jack. The way this thing is designed, you got to be very careful with it. If we look here at the schematic, you can see our power supply comes in, and it's completely isolated. This little transformer. Then the center tap is grounded, and it goes through a 6x5 rectifier, and then through a choke with a couple of caps in it. But what happens is AC power gets on this chassis and on this main pin in the center. And if you was to hook up an oscilloscope or something to it and it's got leaky caps in it, you can say goodbye to the front end of your oscilloscope, because it's going to put AC voltage that's a little bit higher than what your oscilloscope is going to like, and make for a bad day. But all in all, you know, the unit looks cosmetically in good shape. It is missing the leather handle on the top, and the back of it looks just as good as the front. A little problem here in the dial. Sounds like there's something loose, or maybe the dial's bent, the shaft is bent. I'll have to look at that and see. But I want to get this back and up and running and add it to my vintage workbench. I do have an ICO, but it don't quite cover all the frequencies. This one will. So yeah, nice unit. Now the guy that sent me all this stuff, like I said, he wants to stay anonymous. He does not want no mention. So just, you know, big thanks to him for sending this stuff in. He does have some more stuff he's going to send, but you know, this box here was close to 40 pounds. This thing right here is the bulk of it itself. But in the future, we'll tear this thing down and go through it. You're going to see a lot of copper shielding in here, and just about everything in here is going to have a can around it, and it's every little part of it is shielded in its own. But yeah, nice, very old vintage piece of equipment, and we'll have a little fun with this, getting this up and going. So there we are, you know, 3 nice Heathkit vacuum tube voltmeters that will restore and give them away. And as you can see, you know, they're all basically the same meters, just different years that they come out. And you see these are just about identical on the front, but the case is a little different, the handle's a little different, the color of the case is a little different. But this one here is probably the oldest of them, which is in very nice looking shape. And if you notice, they have knobs on these, and these came with knobs. Now these here, the IM18, did not have knobs on them. You can put knobs on them, but that's not the way that they came. So we're going to have to make up some probes for these too when we restore these, and I might even look around and see if I can find some probes on the internet. Depends on what the price is on these things. But yes, 3 nice meters that we'll be giving away. So you know, a big thanks to the guy that sent these in. This will make some nice restoration videos, and hopefully help some folks out down the road. I went ahead and removed the screws and poured the cases off of each one of these meters, so we could just get a look inside, you know, to see what we're going to have to do to get these things back up and going. And I must say, they are in really nice shape. I'm looking here at the battery holders on each one. They're all intact, they're not corroded up. This one here is a little black, it's going to need a little cleaning, but not bad at all. And you can see each one of them has the original old electrolytic capacitors in them, so we'll have to get those changed out. This one, if you notice, this one and this one both have the silicon diode in it, but this one, as you can see, has a selenium rectifier in it. We'll be probably removing this and putting a standard diode back in. I mean, if these are working, they're fine. If they start leaking, they could be dangerous. So we'll probably go ahead and replace those with a good, you know, rectifier diode like in the other 2 units. This is the oldest unit, but I will tell you, it's in real nice shape. And just so you can see, there's the spring that holds the battery. No problems at all. The cups look real good. We'll pan over here to the other one. You can see it's in very nice shape also. The circuit board looks real good. And we'll look here at the third one, and you can see it's still nice, pretty and shiny. Good looking holder. No problems at all. So one of my viewers and friends asked me to order a 10 volt voltage standard, and said I could go ahead and try it out and test it and see how I like it, and then, you know, possibly do just a little YouTube video on it, and then go ahead and send it to them. Well, I liked it so much that I went ahead and ordered another one, because I've had this one now here for quite some time. So, you know, they come with a calibration, and the calibration is for a year. I've already had that one almost a month. I just haven't had time to get to it. But it uses the linear technology LT1021 IC reference chip. And I looked this board over and it's very well constructed. Get zoomed in on it just a little bit. But first thing I noticed, you can see what they did right here around the reference IC. They actually cut the board, and they do have the board in the proper place. Now if you mount this in a case, which you can get a case with these, but we opted not to get the case. You know, board flexing can put pressure on this IC and actually change its settings. So you know, you don't want to do that. But yeah, that's why they, you know, have cut these slots in the board to keep this IC from being effective when you bolt this in. But it's a pretty neat little thing, and they calibrate it when you order it and then send it to you. On the back side it has two 9-volt battery holders, and like I say, this is a 10 volts reference, and it's I think the percentage was 0.003% of accuracy, which is pretty darn good. But you got 2 pins on each battery to test the battery voltage. So if the voltage drops down below 7 volts, you want to go ahead and replace your batteries. So let's give this thing a little test. Okay, we got the old B&K meter here, and we'll go ahead and flip this on and put this on our ground and then on our positive, and 10.00 volts. I think it's pretty bang on. But you know, it just comes in handy to have a little device like this if you need to test different multimeters or whatever. You know, it's a good little tool to have on your bench. This is voltagestandards.com. It comes from Malone Electronics. They're the one that sells this. And this thing was, I think, in 2006. Came out in the Nuts and Bolts magazine. And I think after that, they decided to go ahead and start building these and selling them. And it's been upgraded over the years, but it's good, high quality PCB, nice looking soldering on it, looks real good. So if you need a 10 volt standard, I think this thing was like $53 and shipping and tax and whatever. But yeah, it's a pretty neat little device. I really like it. So this package came in just yesterday, and it was after doing the video on the Sony V-21. Now this was sent in by mail. He was kind of happy to see his V-21 come back to life. And this is something I do not own. I do own some, like I mentioned in the Sony video, I do own some these little cheap Chinese testers and some older capacitor testers equipment. But this is the Atlas ESR 70, and it's made by Peak, and we have a user guide. And let's get it out of here. It comes with a set of gold tip alligator probes. It's like tips are removable. Now usually I don't worry about testing capacitors or looking at ESR, because mostly I just replace the capacitors. But sometimes, you know, when we're in a circuit, especially with something like that Sony where there's so many capacitors, we really would like to see what's going on with the particular capacitor in the circuit. And you can look at the health of the capacitor. And also look at it in circuit, you know, and it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in there. So let's see, hit the on button, powers up, and it's monitoring for component. We'll grab a capacitor that came out. This was from the Swan 270 that we redid for GM. Let me move the camera. Okay, we'll connect this up to one of the terminals here. Analyzing. And as you can see, that's 111.4 microfarad, and the ESR is 0.32 ohms. So we'll just take it off, move it over to another one. Analyzing, that's 5.61 microfarad at a 3.4 ohm ESR. And we'll check this one here. Interesting. Getting nothing off that leg. We'll turn it off, turn it back on. And it's monitoring for a component. And I think this one is supposed to be 5 microfarad. Let's see, that's the one with no designator on it. And the one with no designator is 5 microfarad at 400 volts. We checked the triangle one, and it showed close to 5 microfarad. Yeah, 5.61 at 3.4. So, yeah, this cap, like I say, came out of the Swan, and this one leg here won't even show capacitance or anything. That's very interesting. Okay, this is another one that was out of the Swan. It's 150 microfarad at 150 volts. Analyzing open circuit or low capacitance. Well, it's definitely not low capacitance, so you can see it is also a field capacitor. This is one of those 100 microfarad at 6.3 volts that came out of the Sony that we replaced. Let's see if we can get a reading on one of these. Analyzing open circuit or low capacitance. So yep, that's a bad one also. We'll check one more of them. And it won't even detect that one. So it just shows you how bad those caps were. It's a 2200 microfarad at 16 volt. And it's 2450 microfarad at 0.04 ohms. And we do have a chart inside here that we can go by to see what the typical ESR values is. 2200 at, what did I say, 16 volt. Yeah, so 2200 at 16 volts should have been about 0.08 ohms. So it's close, you know, the capacitor's still good, but it came out of a unit somewhere else. What will it do with a tantalum? Like I say, I've never had one of these, and I find it very interesting. Analyzing 26.26 microfarad at 0.20 ohms. So it will read tantalums. So just grab this old board here and see how it does on reading capacitors that are in circuit. Here's a pair of 4700 microfarads at 35 volts. Let's see if they'll read on those. And turn it back on. Analyzing 0.07 ohms and 46.61 microfarad. So yes, that's a very neat little piece of equipment. I was just reading the manual, and to set this thing up, you turn it on and hold it for greater than 5 seconds. You can also turn the sound off and on. Probe conversation. Short probes and hit test, and it comes up okay and goes back off, and this sets, I guess, the resistance of the wire and the probes and stuff. So if you want to try to use other probes with it, you can compensate for it. Now, I wish this had a jack on it so you could change your different probes, because something I would like to use with it would be this probe here, and it's kind of like a pair of tweezers, and it's got a BNC connector. I just have it hooked up to a BNC to banana jack that I use on another meter for testing voltages. But this would be nice for getting in there on them surface mount aluminum electrolytics to test them. Be good for getting down in the circuit. I might have to build an adapter that will can plug this into, and then plug the BNC into, and then you can just short this together and compensate the probe, and it should be good to go. And big thanks to Mel for sending in this purple ESR meter. I've seen these on YouTube quite a bit. I always like to try one, and now we got one. It seems to be a pretty nice little well, I'm not going to tear it down or nothing, because there's already several videos on that and videos on using them. I just wanted to go ahead and add it to the mail time video. So thank you, Mel, for that. That'll come in very handy, especially on those Sonys. Okay, we got another package from our anonymous viewer that wishes to be not named. So we'll get this up, open, and see what we have in here. Yes, quite a bit of stuff in this one. So at first we have a Simpson 260 6LR volt ohm millimeter manual, and it's like parts list. And to go along with that, we have a Simpson 260. She has the small 2mm jacks, which Joel has sent in some jacks that would fit this. Knob feels good. Do the old meter test. Yep, meter works good. Moves back and forth. I'm going to look at the back of it here. Had a couple of cracks in it. These things are tough. It's a Bakelite style material that they're made out of, but they're tough. They just crack them, you can glue them right back together and keep going on. Alright, Move on to the next item. Here we have a manual B&K vacuum tube voltmeter 177. Now we have our schematic and our manual. So this must mean that we have a B&K 177 in the box. And here we are, the B&K model 177 vacuum tube voltmeter. They did not list the range on this one, on the volts per ohm. We'll have to look that up in the manual. In pretty good looking shape. You know, a couple of dings on the front, but looks good. Meter movement works great. It is missing one foot off the bottom, but we got new feet, we can put them in. And looking at the tag here, which is wore off, but the engraving is still there. 6/23/1977. Good old meters. We'll probably put this one in the giveaway also, and let this go on to somebody that has a need for a vacuum tube voltmeter. I don't think there's a battery in it. Nope, no battery in it, which is good. So yeah, they're nice, great, decent voltmeters. Well, we got a cable here in a Ziploc bag. So we can see it's B and C on one side, and a little strange cable on the other side. It's almost like a number 47 bulb. So we know what this is for. This is for that signal generator that was sent in. So that's exactly what this cable is for. So good, we don't have to make that up. We now have the cable, the proper cable for it. And looking in the bottom of the box, I found the original foot for the 177 here, so we can just glue that back in place. A good deal. Don't have to worry about putting new feet on it, because these look in pretty good shape. And our last item that was in the box is a helicopters. This is the model S-38. No designator behind it, so this is the original S-38. Got a switch for speakerphones, AM CW noise blinker, CW pitch, about band, volume, receive and standby. Tuning dial works good. That means the dial cords are in place. Band spread looks good. Now, these models were known as the potential killer, and the reason for that is if it still has the original power cord on it. This power cord has been replaced. As you can see, it's a polarized cord, but the problem is, oh look at that, the label is just about perfect. One little missing place here on the edge, but other than that, the label looks great. Alright, back to the power cord. The old power cord that was in this, that came in these radios, were non-polarized, which means you can plug it in either way. Okay, no problem, right? Wrong. The problem is that one wire goes straight through the circuit, and it goes all the way, the hot side goes all the way through the whole circuit, right on up to the last filament of the tube. The other wire goes in, goes to the switch, that's the off on switch that's mounted on the volume control, and straight to ground. Depending on how you have the plug plugged into the receptacle. If you have it in the wrong way, all you had to do was push this radio up against something metal, like another radio, antenna wire connected. It would actually turn the radio on with the power switch in the off position. And what makes this the killer, if you happen to be on part of the radio where you got some metal on it, like on this chassis or one of these screws here, and you touch something that's grounded, you become the switch. And that's when you either get a nasty shock, or you go to that big radio shop up in the sky. So you have to be real careful. There's a modification for this. When we restore this, we'll go through that modification, show you how to prevent that from happening. Well, I brought the unit up on a variac, and we're on band number 1.
Friendly with inflatables for kids and food vendors on site. The Live Well 5K and Fun Run is an opportunity to give competitive and
you can hear that oscillation going on.
Today at runtheeast.com.
There we go, hear that oscillation again. And there it is again. The unit appears to be working fairly decent. One thing I wanted to check to see if it was receiving CW. And you can see that it is. And the reason I was curious with that is that they actually use a what's called a glitch capacitor under the oscillator tube, so it receives CW. And all it is just a wire laying under the tube with another wire that wraps around it. If someone's worked on this thing and has took this wire and moved it over to the chassis and got it up from the tube, it will no longer receive CW. But we'll get all in that when we do the restore on it. But the unit seems to be working pretty good. I hear no hum. I don't know what's been done to it. I don't know if the caps have been replaced, but I'm not hearing any hum. You don't hear any hum when the volume's cut down, so that's a good sign. Looks like it's going to be a great little piece to restore. Cosmetically, it looks real good. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. A couple little nicks here and there, but you know, hey, that's character. Put a little antenna wire. It's just hooked up to a dipole antenna, no ground on it. Bottom cover is there. You find a lot of these missing, and along with the back cover, you notice is missing. And the reason for that, the back cover is made of that cardboard style material. I do have the plans to print these out, so we'll be printing out a new back cover and putting it on a piece of material and putting it back on here, and it just slides in from the sides, and it has, you know, the cutouts for the phone antenna and power cord. Then there's vents cut in it, so we'll be making one of them when we go through this. I did see a tag on the bottom. See if we can get a look at that. Okay, what this tag is, this unit was sent to Arden Radio Stores, television, radio repairs, and air conditioning. And it looks like 327 Columbus Avenue, New York City. And telephone number. And you can see it was dated 7/28, and I can't tell if it's 1954 or 1959. And it looks like they installed a new tube in it, and 12SQ5, and something about the dial. I don't know if that's dial cord or whatever. Interesting. There you go. And just taking a peek here at Google Maps, we can see this is 327 Columbus Avenue. So somewhere in this building during the 50s was a TV radio repair shop. I always like to Google old places like that to see where businesses that did electronic repair were located at. And you see this is Columbus Avenue running here through New York City. And inside this big building somewhere was a TV radio repair shop. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that mega mail time video. Quite a bit of interesting stuff here. Like I say, a lot of this stuff we're going to take and pass on. Probably all the stuff there sitting at the top, all the voltmeters, we're probably going to just go ahead and repair them and send them on out to someone else in a giveaway. Anyway, you can always let me know by giving me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you in the next video.